Hello and welcome back to Dead But Alive, Southern England. Okay, the ammo situation's pretty good, but the food supply situation is problematic. So let's head out. Okay, that's a new survivor and they're really close. 4 AP, yeah, okay, let's get them. I've passed through this countryside many times, and on our holidays to Bournemouth, we often took a day trip to visit the idyllic countryside. The land is largely flat plains, arable fields that are crisscrossed with country lanes and sprinkled with the occasional pub or village. There aren't that many people around, so I wouldn't expect to find too many Zeds roaming through this part of the country. We've been in touch with a different survivor by radio, who's expressed interest in joining our group, so we should probably check it out. Okay, let's walk there. Yes, you can join our group. I appreciate our food situation's not great, but hey, that's what I'm planning to spend most of today doing, so... Yeovil. I must return one day, return with Emily to Yeovil, and revisit together some of the places that I shared with her mother on that memorable spring so long ago. We made a particular point of seeing the Yew, the river that gives the town its name, but it was a somewhat disappointing sight from the busy road and retail park. The town is pretty large, so I expect that the city is humming with the dead, lying with the dying, and those horrific creatures that we call the undead. We could probably locate some food here, but we should also be prepared for trouble. Let's walk there. As we came closer to the city, abandoned cars made it much more difficult to get through. Everything that happened today has left me so exhausted, I'll simply skip the description and refer you to the photo that I took. By some miracle, no zombies had found their way into this house. We found a hidden room, some sort of shelter that had a few preserves that were perfect for our situation. And more than that, the study was bedecked with books, and hidden among them we found a small black gun and a few bullets. Okay, let's head over here for 8. There are a few small roads and the occasional hillock along the wide flat fields here, and the A303 cuts through heading northeast and southwest. It's a deserted area and won't have many supplies or that many people, infected or otherwise, to bother any visitors. We think there'll be a little food here, and we don't expect to see too many Zeds hanging around. We went looking for supplies today in some nearby countryside, and I had a good feeling about one house in particular. There was no sign of any trouble as we smashed the window and went inside, and the house was more or less empty, but a door in the attic was locked, so we decided to take a look. Yes, I know how the lockpicking minigame works, thank you. Nope. Nope. Okay, we'll get them now. Nope, okay, one more. That's it. The lock opened and finally gave us the chance to get the supplies we've been looking for. And inside we found a stash of conserves, and we also discovered some ammo. And things got better, as the owner had stashed away a few fuel cans. Okay, that's not too bad. Bournemouth, potentially the chance to get some weaponry. Shall we drive there? Yeah, alright. I remember strolling along Bournemouth Pier with Emily, just days before the event. She always loved the beach, exploring the sand dunes with her bucket and spade. Bournemouth is a large city, and it was always packed during the summer. I expect that the place is swarming with undead now, creatures that ironically mimic the crawling of the sea life that Emily used to investigate with the wondrous eyes of a child. Steve suggested we check out the police station in central Bournemouth, as it's located on 5 Madeira Road, which is about 2 miles from the beach. Okay, let's drive there. Today, we went to investigate the central police station in Bournemouth. When the disease spread and attacks in the street became more common, the area was heavily fortified by the police and by the military. Caroline scratched herself on some barbed wire and almost freaked out, thinking she might have infected herself, but either the barbed wire was clean, or dried blood isn't infectious. Once we'd crossed the fortifications, we decided to build a makeshift ladder from the material lying around and break in one of the windows on the second floor. We did not expect the police station to still be manned. We were wrong, and we literally met Tom and Lucy at gunpoint. Okay, so we lost 4 AP. Or fuel, yes, thank you. Noise plus 10, yes, thank you. Let's just get to what she's saying. Stop! Police! Oh, shit. Hey, you don't look like you're infected. Explain. Well, very well. Well, I think under the circumstances, breaking into a police station won't end up in a trip to the cells. Come with us, we've got supplies. I'm not alone. Wait, do you have any antibiotics? A doctor, maybe? We rushed back to Winchester. With the car we made the distance in 2 hours, and it only took that long, because we had a detour around some block streets. Gerald was at home, and he opened the door. Well, where else would he have been? You again. Someone needs your help. Gunshot wound. Where? Police station in Bournemouth. It's an officer. We've got a car. Alright, I'm coming. I was getting lonely here anyway. 2 hours later. I'm a doctor. What's the problem? My colleague has a gunshot wound. Come with me. I'll take you to him. You follow Lucy to a room further down, and a wounded officer is lying on a table. Gerald quickly and efficiently examines his new patient. Okay, Tom. This might hurt. I told you. You're lucky. Wound's not infected. The bullet went right through the leg. Lucky it didn't hit any bones or arteries. I'll need a place to properly clean and stitch the wound. You'll be okay. Lucy, will you and Tom join us? I guess so. We decided to hold out here as long as we could, but we're almost out of supplies. Doesn't look like there'll be any relief coming anyway. What about guns? That's about the only thing we've got in surplus here. Okay, let's pack up and get out of here. I don't like staying in the city any longer than necessary. Ammo plus... Wow, that's a lot of guns. Not going to complain about that then. Plus, I think we've officially picked up the doctor, which is useful. Okay, and that'll use up a lot of our fuel, unfortunately. So that... Everything seems to be a bit of a distance now. Nope, can't quite reach there. About there. Nope. Can't really reach anywhere without having to use up fuel. Okay, so let's... Okay, let's use up some fuel to hopefully get... Oh no, we can actually reach there by walking. Excellent. Somewhere here lie fragments of my fiancée. Microparticles of ash that were once bones, spirits, thoughts, and life. The town's full of fragments now. Fragments of a normality that was once present, but is now destroyed, killed by the cancer of this inhuman virus. There should be a good supply of fuel here, but the area is densely populated, so any trip here would be risky. Let's walk there. We noticed several corpses on the side of the road, and amongst the abandoned cars and broken down barricades. We picked up a random car near the entrance to the lot, and kept alert for trouble as we smashed the window to get inside. The only living creatures were the rats, stealing food just as we were hoping to. And we were in luck, as we found a few tins of tuna and some ammo. Moreover, we found a secret cache of fuel, a small pyramid of metal tubs, painted red and somewhat rusted. However, the cans appear, but their contents will be most welcome. Let's head back to camp. Must have quite a lot of people by now. We've got 13 regular guys and 10 VIPs. So should we talk to Gerald? Well, it isn't as comfortable as my house, but I guess it isn't terrible. I'm still not certain I made the correct choice, though. Well, lucky to have you here. Why? Because I'm a doctor? Made a pretty piss-poor one, even when I was practicing. I'll do what I can, but I can't make any promises. Beyond that, I couldn't even save my own wife. Now I've got an entire group here thinking I can treat their wound or help them with some disease I've never even seen before. Hope you kids have a backup plan for when I can't do all you ask me to. Preferably someone strong enough to dig some deep ditches. And quick. Did the Zeds get your wife? Zeds? Nah, nothing that exotic. My incompetence as a doctor killed my wife. All the symptoms were there, I just... Well... What does it matter now? I caught her about 6 months too late to do anything useful and she died. Stopped seeing patients for a while after that. Clearly I'm not qualified. I'm sure you're being too hard on yourself? That's what my psychologist said. And unless you've watched a loved one die, knowing it was your fault, I don't think you're rightly qualified to tell me how hard I should be on myself. Thanks. Truth is, if I knew what I was doing, my wife would still be alive. But she isn't. I'm stuck here with you lot, hoping a Zed gets to me just to put me out of my misery. I with a death wish, that's always a good start. Okay. Okay. Joining the UK police just recently, Lucy has angered her parents. Fair enough. Let's talk to her. At least she's got decent melee skills. I noticed you're pretty quick on your feet out there. I have to say I'm impressed. It isn't too often I've encountered a civilian with your level of instinct in combat. Well, I'll explain my military background. I should also point out that to the best of my knowledge, UK police aren't really combat trained, so to speak. You know, I could be entirely wrong there. You know, I'm assuming they get at the very least... Actually, no, I know they get at least basic self-defense training for things like standard knife disarms. Because there are times when you need them. But, yeah. Explain your military background. I knew it. I've been around so many people with the same sort of drive and dedication recently. I can pick up the kind of people that are built for this, and those that aren't. Every officer in my unit was Every officer in my unit was like that, down to a 1. When all hell broke loose, not a one of them ran. It was only 10 or so to start with, but we did what we could. A couple of us didn't make it out of those first few days. Maybe I could have done something, I don't know. Then Tom got separated from the rest. I wanted to go back. I want to go back. It's just... I don't know if I could deal with what I might see when we get back. If anyone can make it, it's them. Well, they are fully trained cops, so maybe. Don't use the slang term cops in this country. Again. Not in my part of England. They could do it further down south. It's, you know, there are a few Americanisms that have been adopted. If at any point we encounter a lift and it gets called an elevator, that's the point I'll know for sure that this was written by an American. Or somebody whose knowledge of English comes from the bastardized version that Americans use. They have as good a shot as anyone. Actually better than most, probably. Yeah, you know what? I'll believe they're alive until I see evidence that suggests otherwise. Thanks for that perspective. You're alright. Hello, Tom. Former experienced police officer. Wow, he's good in a hand-to-hand fight. He's actually really good. His stats are equal to mine. Tom's in the process of chopping some wood. He sees your approach and stops what he's doing. Although he says nothing as you do, and after several uncomfortable seconds. You need something? Just wanted to say how you were doing. I'm fine. Tom returns to his task, chopping wood with what seems like an increasing intensity. You stand around awkwardly for a minute or so, before Tom looks up at you again. Sorry, didn't mean to bother you. Well, you should have thought about that before you came over here, gaping at me when I was trying to get something done. Aren't you supposed to be the leader here or something? Well, go on then. Lead. Lead this merry band of survivors all the way to their happy ever after. I'm sure it'll be all rainbows and sunshine in just a couple of weeks there, champ. Now get the fuck out of here. Go bother someone else. I'm busy. Well, he's kind of a dick. How's Alex doing? My dad always warned me all those art classes I was taking were a waste of time. I'm not sure what sort of classes would help in a situation like this. Combat training? Seriously, you know, one of the members of the HSD, at least one of us, might be a couple actually, own sharp blades. Now you have to be you have to have a license to own one of them in this country, as far as I'm aware. Never bothered checking the law. But let's face it, one good sharp sword could kill an awful lot of zombies, especially if you knew how to use it. Zed Hunting 101 wasn't anywhere in the curriculum, I don't think. Okay, no one else wants to talk to me, that's fair enough. So yeah, 3 points, 1 point, 3 points, 3 points, 1 point, 1 point, 3 points. Okay, so yeah, those two are good for a lot of AP actually. So I'm not going to complain about that. Let's see how badly they affect the food situation though. Yeah, not great, but on the plus side, hey, 40 action points first thing in the morning. Okay, we've got the action points and the ammunition, so let's do a big hunt. So let's go hunting. Lost 20 AP, lost 10 ammo, Noise plus 10. Get 8 food. That was not really worth it, if I'm honest. Okay, and nope, no one wants to talk. That's fine. Okay, we might as well collect some wood. And let's head out into the world, because we could do with more supplies. Because I think we're 75% done with the fence. So if we can get 30 supplies, we can finish building that fence. Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Okay then, let's head there, I think. It's a bit of a walk. So let's drive, I think. The lanes and roads here curl, climb and fall, following the contours of an ancient and fertile rural landscape. And there are a few villages around, but generally this piece of countryside remains as isolated and beautiful as it was a millennia ago. We think there should be some building supplies here, and we don't expect to come across too many Zeds. While scouting the nearby countryside, we came upon some houses we never knew were there before, and one house was still locked up, but we found a spare key hidden in the back garden. We carried out a thorough sweep of the house, but we were lucky. No Zeds were waiting for us, and we found a few tins of food in the pantry. Then things got even better, and the hallway had a hard stone floor of white tiles, and in the speckled window light we saw a peppering of bullets, most useful addition to our supplies. On top of that, one of the bedrooms had bunk beds, and we pulled that furniture apart for its wood. Okay, that's not too bad. Food situation's still not amazing, so let's go there, I think. I wonder what William the Conqueror would make of his old hunting grounds these days. The only thing to hunt here is the occasional zombie, although in this remote part of the woods I wouldn't expect to see many. We should find some building supplies here though, with minimal danger. Let's walk there. With our supplies running low, we decided to try our luck in the rural village, several miles outside the city. One house had an unblocked back window, and it seemed like too lucky a break to pass up, so we slipped inside to take a look. The owners of this house had been gone a long time, probably hastily evacuated by the military. Moreover, the garage was well equipped with car maintenance tools, and in a work table we found 2 cases of shotgun shells. And then, chopping the furniture provided us with some useful building materials. That's all we can really do for today. Unless anything's within 4. No. Okay. Food situation not amazing, but we will cope. Okay then. Next day. Okay, we're out of food. That's not good. Jenny would like to talk to you. You know what I really miss? More than anything? Your family? Well, of course. I mean, beyond the obvious stuff, though. Anyway, it might sound kind of stupid, but I'd kill for a warm shower right now. I know. No television, no culture. Society's collapsing all around us. I should have other concerns. A warm shower would make everything better, but just for a little bit. Shower doesn't sound nice right now, doesn't it? Shower, bath, whatever. It'll settle for a run through sprinklers. I used to do this thing at home where I would just crank on the hot water for like 5 or 10 minutes and just sit there on the edge of the tub, not even getting in. I just let the warmth fill up the entire room while I sat there and took it all in. It's like my own miniature sauna. And no matter how bad my day was or what else I had on my plate, those 5 to 10 minutes would make all the worries in my life just go away. What about you? Any little thing you miss that would help you unwind? I just realised she's German. I should be shouting all her dialogue. In case you've not met any Germans, there's a guy who the Hotspur School of Defence likes to get in on occasion, who is a swordmaster from Germany called Jorg. And there was a comment last year that the HST should have got him a Christmas present that somebody found, which was just a t-shirt with "I'm not shouting, I'm just German" written on it, because they reckoned it's absolutely appropriate. So what do you do? Could we talk about showers some more? What? This isn't what I was getting at. I just meant, well, you see, I don't feel comfortable talking about that right now. I mean, maybe after we know each other a bit better? I'm sure your shower habits are interesting as well. Not that I'm interested in hearing about them. Not that I'm not, it's... okay, wow, I'm saying a lot of things. Is it hot here? I think it's hot here. I need to go over there for a bit to not be so hot. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm so flustered. I am aware this game does have romance paths. Because one of the comments I noticed on the forums was somebody saying, hang on a minute, I seem to be able to start multiple romance paths. Is that meant to happen, or am I going to break the game? And apparently it's absolutely meant to happen. Okay, the fuel situation's kind of buggered, so let's walk there. Plus 2 food, seriously? Okay. Today we found a small country village that looked like it had been abandoned for some time. The front door to the one promising building was particularly flimsy, and a few good kicks was all it took to break it down. The house was completely silent. Not a soul, living or dead, was in residence, and a large ladder was adjoined to the kitchen. And pushing open the heavy door, we found it well stocked. Much of the food had been spoiled, but a lot was still edible, and additionally the front room was well lit and fashionably decorated. An uneven tile on the parquet floor caught our attention and revealed a secret compartment containing 2 boxes of shotgun shells. Okay, do we have a high-risk food? No, we don't, unfortunately. Alright, long walk over to there. We visited the beautiful town of Lymington, near the coast a few times. Lymington? Lymington? It's in this country, I should be able to pronounce it. During our annual holidays to nearby Bournemouth. The countryside here is wide and flat, breaking up into angular white cliffs that tumble into the sea. There should be some food here. We consider it a low-risk area. We don't expect too many Zeds. Let's walk there. We heard rumours of a small farmstead nearby that might have some useful supplies, and we went to check it out. So just look at this photo I took. What a location, eh? The house was completely silent. Not a soul, living or dead, was in residence. Under a bed we discovered a stash of food. More than that, as we descended into the basement down iron steps and entered the dimly lit chamber, there were 3 iron-bound caskets there, and in one we found a new pistol and a few bullets. Okay, let's walk to here. I remember passing really close to Bealoo during the summertime holidays many, many years ago, passing a parade of classic motor cars for the famous car festival there. The terrain is rural and quite beautiful, a mix of trees, mostly pine and oak, separated by tough fields of short, harsh grass. There aren't many houses around here, just the occasional pub and village, and I don't expect that there are many Zeds around. There's probably some food here, and the area is quite sparsely populated, so it's classified as low risk. Walk there. With our supplies running low, we decided to try our luck in a rural village several miles outside the city. The last house in the village was mostly out of sight and looked undisturbed, at least until we broke in. God, we couldn't believe how lucky we are. The only inhabitants of the house were spiders and their webs. In the kitchen the cupboards were found a pile of crackers, still sealed and fresh, most delightful. Then as we searched the dining room, we found a few shotgun shells, and moreover the cellar had an old pitcher, a rusted metal cone, and by the gods it was filled with petrol. See? Use of petrol! Thank you! It's called petrol in this country, not gasoline. And outside, we found a good length of wire fencing. That was a really good one. Okay, this is going to use up the last of our AP for today, but that's okay. I can remember walking with my fiancée and a tiny Emily along the edge of the New Forest on a summer, so long ago. The area was quite devoid of people then, apart from the ubiquitous cars. I expect that the area is now home to a clutch of lumbering Zeds. Lost souls wandering the forest like ancient spirits. There are probably food supplies here, and we can consider the area of a low risk. Let's walk there. We heard rumours of a small farmstead nearby that might have some useful supplies, and we went to check it out. I had a good feeling about one house in particular, and there was no sign of any trouble as we smashed the window and went inside. But to our alarm, we were not the first to arrive at the scene, for the undead were waiting for us. That's only a grade 4 guy. Yes, thank you. I've already seen the tutorial, thank you. It's probably doing that because, yeah, this is my second recording session. So, spin the dial. It's not pretty slow already. Right. Nope, stop there, thank you. That's okay, 21 is pretty good. Good, and she's down. Somehow, the zombies aren't chewing on our bones right now. We've survived another battle, and I keep trying to make sense of it all, to see some good in all this madness, but there's nothing good about this. Compassion's not the answer here. and we all felt we deserved to find something good after all we'd just gone through. There was a huge pantry. It was mostly empty, but there were a few tins of stew in there, and things got better when we entered the study, and a rosewood writing desk had a gun and a few bullets in one of the drawers. Okay, let's head back to camp. Not anything else we can do for the day, so let's head on. Okay, so we're using up about 20 odd food in a day. Hang on, how many survivors have we got total at the moment? 23. That probably means we're using up a point of food for each of them. Okay, that makes sense. Nobody wants to talk to me today? Oh, he does, okay. Tom sees you, but is no longer responding. It appears that this is all you will be able to get out of him this day. Okay, that was totally worth it. Okay, guys. Let's finish off this blighted fence. But the fence is done. You upgraded your camp with a fence. Alright, let's hope we can get some stuff close by. Okay, let's check out these ones that are close by, I think. I stayed in the army base around here for a few months, back with some of my army mates, like Dirk from Dorchester. There's a lot of infrastructure around the base, and the nearby village is bigger than some in the area, but on the whole this is an isolated rural spot. There should be some building supplies here and not too much trouble. We saw some houses hidden from the main road on a previous trip into the countryside. The day seemed like a good day to check them out. One small house near the end of the row had apparently been missed by looters, and we decided to break in and check it out. We carried out a thorough sweep of the house, but we were lucky. No Zeds were waiting for us. There was a laundry room that smelled of disinfectant and soap, and in a wooden cupboard we found a few preserves which were still fine to eat. Further, the garage had a nice supply of ammo. Then apparently the former owners were about to refurbish their home, because we discovered a lot of wood and building materials in the basement. Okay, let's head to this group of survivors and see if we can trade with them. I remember driving through here with my father on a trip to the town of Wells. The countryside is quite beautiful, small winding lanes and roads that cut through grass fields. There are a few small villages and isolated dwellings by the roads, but generally there aren't too many people though. We've been in touch with a different group by radio. We should check it out. Let's see if we can trade some resources. We've got into contact with fellow survivors, and a small group of them had a hideout here. We were clearly the fiercest living people they'd seen in some time, and they immediately made us feel welcome. They showed interest in our ammo, 4 points, and offered to trade it against food, 8 points, fuel, 8 points, or material, 10 points. Okay, good. That's pretty much perfect, because I could do with trading some bullets for some food. That went pretty well overall. Okay. That must have been the place. Irwin Minster, a tiny village on the main road that I visited as a child with my parents. We sat outside, had tea with huge scones and strawberry jam and clotted cream. It was bliss. I wonder if that cafe's still sitting there. We expect to find some weapon supplies here, with a minimal risk of attack. With our supplies running low, we decided to try our luck in a small rural village, several miles outside the city. One house near the end of the row had apparently been missed by the looters, so we decided to break in and check it out. A meal was spread out on the dining table, now covered in mould and attracting vermin. The house had been abandoned in a hurry some time ago, and furthermore a huge four-poster bed sat in one of the bedrooms. Under its pink pillow, we found a few glinting bullets. Not what I needed. Okay. Hopefully we can find some food here, or we are in trouble. The fields here make up the patchwork of a typical English landscape. Farm fields bordered by hedges in a region that's crisscrossed with roads sprinkled with small villages and farmhouses. And the population density is low, so there aren't too many Zeds hanging around. We expect to find some ammunition, or maybe weaponry here, and visiting the area should represent a low risk. Worried about our supplies running out, we went to explore a tiny village far from the city. The last house in the village was mostly out of sight and looked disturbed. Until we broke in, that is. Cold and dark, this house had clearly been abandoned for some time. Okay, so we are really quite low on food. That to me seems like a reasonable point to end this part. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.